Okay, folks, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Patrick Phillips. We're going to get this webinar started. We have a live interview today. So if you're interested in getting into medical billing as a business, working out of your home, you just hit the right place at the right time. Paul Visser is going to be with us today. And I'm going to start by, let's see, I think I have to first do this, and then we should be able to go to this slide. Now, all I'm asking you right there to do is to put your city, state in the question area. We'll see your name. And I see Praveen has already typed something in there, and so is Angela. Thank you. But if you want to put your city and state, I'll kind of at least acknowledge that we've got people from all over the country joining the webinar. So I do see Carla on here, Chelsea, Clay is on here, Denise, Jim, Norden. I see Rosalind, Tamara, and Umandi. Yeah. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I'm sorry, but I do see some folks typing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Wow. Praveen is from India City, Bangalore. So that's a long ways off, isn't it? Chelsea's from Sunderland, Maryland, and then we got Sumter, South Carolina for Angela. So again, that's just to make sure that you guys are actually hearing the sound of my voice. All right, again, let me just introduce myself. For those of you who have not been on our webinars, my name is Patrick Phillips. I'm the founder and CEO of American Business Systems. And I do these webinars every once in a while because I love to interview people like Paul, who've been very successful in the business, and share their success story with you. Because if you're thinking about getting into this business, then you want to hear from successful people. We've been around doing this for 25 years, and that's because my wife and I actually did medical billing way back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then we started teaching other people how to duplicate our success, and have grown from there. And so you can check us out if you'd like to do some research on us. One of the very solid places to check with is the Better Business Bureau in Fort Worth. So just Google BBB Fort Worth or something like that, and you'll find that we have an A+ rating. That's the highest rating that you can get. You only do that by just doing what you say you're going to do over a period of time. I'm also the chairman of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? It's MIRMA.org if you'd like to go check that out on the web. But this is the organization that actually certifies you as a medical revenue manager if you go through our training. I'm also a member of the editorial board of the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. They have about 40,000 subscribers across the nation. Office managers, people who run their own medical billing companies and so forth that subscribe to it. I'm a best-selling author. You'll find some of my books out there on the internet, and you're welcome to do a research there on Amazon or any local bookstore to find some of those. Some of those are used as marketing tools for our licensees as well. Hey, anytime you want to come visit us in Fort Worth, here's our address, 5157 Kroger Drive. You're welcome to come visit us. Just let us know you're coming ahead of time. We'll give you a tour, introduce you to everybody in the offices, and that's just a little bit to assure you that we are who we think you are. And if you want to come down and just talk to us for a time and ask questions, that's the way to do it. So what we do is we have a cloud-based medical billing system and electronic medical records, as well as a patient portal. And we are a clearinghouse. So we're all of that all rolled into one. And that's why people who get started in our business are very successful, because we've got everything and we're a one-stop shop. We've also got a lot of other ancillary services that you can offer to doctors. You don't have to. They're all optional, but they're available to you all in our licensing package, we call it. Now, we're kind of like a franchise, but we don't have territories. We don't have royalties. You're your own business owner. So you start your own business. We'll help you with that, of course, and get you going. And then you can offer any of these other services. We do live training down here in Dallas in a classroom in a hotel. You stay at the hotel, come to the classroom each day, and of course, you get to meet all the other people who are starting their business as well there. We do that on a regular basis, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let's see if Paul is still behind the scenes there, ready to turn on his webcam. Paul, you with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, hey, there he is. Paul is live from, what city are you in?
I actually reside in Winter Garden, Florida, which is right next door to Orlando. Nobody knows the Winter Garden, but they do know Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I even tell people we're in Dallas, but that's because they've watched the TV show, years ago, and they don't think of Fort Worth as a part of it. But we're about 30 miles away. Well, this is exciting, Paul. It was a while back that you went through our training, but give me a feel for where you're at first right now in your business. Just tell me a little bit about, the number of clients you have, and if you have partners, and whether you work out of your home, and that type of thing.
Yeah, actually, we work out of the home, and my partner I thought was going to be my wife, but she ended up doing something else. So my brother actually came from South Africa, and that's really when the business started taking off, because between the two of us, we sort of headbutted each other until we found a path that we both liked. And ABS was obviously very good in helping out whenever I needed it. But the two of us worked a strategy out that I think appealed to some of the doctors. And I think from my son, obviously I have a son who's a doctor, so I was fortunate enough to have him as a first client. But since then, with referrals and our marketing strategy, which we call more strategic on specific items, we've been pretty successful in getting at least 3 full-time clients and quite a number of what we call part-time clients, where we do the AR, we do some of their data processing, and we do some appeals, as well as we've trained a number of ABS licensees. We actually show them the day-to-day running until they're on their feet. So we actually work out a payment plan with them, and that's been very successful. And I must say, ABS obviously taught Tim, and Tim, who is an ABS licensee, showed us one of the ideas from ABS. So ABS has got some really good ideas, which we just took to the next step. So
Yeah,
right now we have our in-house office, but we do have local facilities that we can use to show clients. So it's always good to have a separate space if you're going to show a client, because not only do doctors come and meet you, but sometimes the office managers would like to meet you.
sure. And that's easy to find those offices that are kind of shared facilities. They have a conference room, and they have a front desk, a receptionist, and so forth. Yeah, that's great.
Correct. Yes, yeah. So that helps out a lot, because it also gives you a location on the web, for an office, because sometimes Google and those places don't like home offices. They prefer, a business office. So that gives you legitimacy on just an office. So
Yeah.
that helps out a lot too.
Yeah.
And
In
they
fact,
take your mail, so that's great.
yes, we train people that if they don't want to go that route at first, they can always get a box at a UPS store, and that looks like a business address as well. So yeah, you just
Correct.
don't
And
have.
we started with that and progressed to the shared offices. So yeah, we
Yeah,
did start with the box. Yeah, it's a good way to go start it, and it's you don't really need an office, but the manager and that they look at you, if they want to meet you elsewhere, it's a good idea. And it's
yes,
very inexpensive actually as well. So you just pay for the time that you need. So it's worthwhile looking into.
yeah, that's good. I'm looking at the comments here, and folks, remember we had you type something in the question box because we want you to remember that this is live. Well, unless you're watching the recording of it, but right now today it's live, and you're certainly welcome to ask Paul questions. This is your chance to ask somebody who's actually been through our training, went through the whole process, probably did some due diligence on us as a company, I guess. Did you check us out, Paul, first?
I did. Yes, I did. I did a lot of research before I actually picked ABS. And I think it's well worth looking at that, as well as I talked to a lot of references. Adam gave me a number of references that I called, and we spoke. So it's, I think the feeling that I got was the system, the actual iCloud, the iClaim, the EMRX, they work well together, and there's no hiccups, there's no delays, and the scrubbing is very good. I mean, I would say it's a very good tool to have as far as when you're working on the claims. So I think that, as well as the clearinghouse, if you have any headaches, I mean, ABS support, and obviously, the support from the iCloud is excellent. So you don't have to know the system day one, but they train you how to use the system, as well as the video clips that ABS has. Those are very good tools to use.
Yeah, lots of training out there on our private website for licensees, isn't there?
Yes, very much. I mean, you can just about ask any question, and there's an answer for it, or somebody will give you the answer. So
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, short of just handing the doctor to you, they give you just about everything else.
right. By the way, I do see a question here from Angela. She's asking what the startup cost is. Angela, that's all on our website there, but it's about $27,000 at this point. That includes the week of training here in Dallas and Fort Worth. It also includes lifetime support, and that's the only money you ever pay us. There's no back end fees that you ever pay for anything. All the training, in fact, we do training about 2 or 3 times a month. We'll do training for licensees, webinars like this. Again, we bring in guests like Dr. Vicki Rackner and other people who teach our licensees and keep them up to date on stuff. And Paul, I don't know if you've been to a lot of those, but those are offered on a regular basis at no cost.
Yes, no, I've used some of them. Yes, they're very good. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Angela also said, how long is the training? Angela, it's a whole week. It starts, we fly in on Sunday at the hotel, and the first thing Monday morning, 8 o'clock, we get started, and then we go all the way through the week on Friday at about 1 o'clock. Paul, is that what the hours were for you?
Yes, those were the hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
We want to let people out on Friday so they can get home and enjoy the weekend with their family. And believe me, it's a lot of information, but you will be amazed how quickly that goes.
It does. It goes very quickly. So it's always good to take notes. When I was there, I took a lot of notes because you're going to go back to it as far as the
Right.
notes go. And I took a lot of pictures as well because you always want to see what the room's like. Or there's always a lot of notes on the walls that people write. So it's always great to remember those. And and sometimes people come up with great ideas and you forget what it was until you take the picture.
That's what we tell people at the end there. Just walk around the room, take the pictures of all. These are the big post-it notes on a huge pad up front that we write stuff on, and then we'll stick it on the walls. And of course, we are going through PowerPoint presentations for every session as well. And Paula, what about the questions? Did you get all your questions asked during the class? Did they give time for questions?
Yes, no, they did. And, obviously the biggest question is, how do I find my doctor? What's the first thing? So that is part of the week's training, how to do the marketing and follow the steps and those things like that. But yes,
Yeah.
they do answer all the questions. So that was good.
Was that Cynthia who taught your class?
Cynthia, yes, she's the one
Yeah.
that taught us. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
She's a
Yeah,
powerhouse, isn't she?
yes, she's done a lot of videos and they're very inspirational. Yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of our webinars ongoing. But folks, we're talking about Cynthia. She's a licensee that's up in the Phoenix area that actually flies down here and does the training during the week. We feel it's better for you to hear from somebody who's actually out there doing it than to hear it from me or any of my staff members. Let's see. Angela also says, I was told that I could work from my home office. Now, Paul, you're in your home office right now, right? You run the business out of it?
Yes. This is my home office. I have another computer that I use. Yeah, I've got everything that I need here, except if somebody wants to formally meet with you, then we use either a coffee house or we use the rent. So
Yeah, the rented office is there. Yeah.
yes, yeah, we find that socially, it's very difficult to meet the doctor or the manager at their place. So they normally take a lunch break or evening, after hours. That's how we meet them, and that's why I'm not sure if I told you, but I have a 6 o'clock appointment that I have to talk to a potential client. Yeah.
Yeah, today at the end of this, you have to get off early to get on that 6 o'clock meeting, huh?
That's correct. Yes.
That's great. Now, Paul, have you found that most of your clients have come from referrals from other doctors that you do billing for?
Which is
Oh,
obviously, the one that you want to find. If you do
Paul,
what you
sorry.
say.
Paul, you were hung up there just for a second. Can you start that answer over again? If referrals or how you got your clients?
Yeah, referrals are our most productive one because we produce what we say we do, and the doctors always have a good point to mention it. So in the evenings when they get together, they obviously talk amongst themselves and they would suggest who it is, and that's one of the reasons why tonight we have an appointment, because somebody suggested something and we were mentioned, so they're going to talk to us. But not only that, if you specialize in something as well, we go to conferences, we go to after-hours meetings with the local businesses, and we talk about something specific, and they find it interesting. So then that person talks to the doctor at the office, and then the doctor says, well, I want to find out more about it. So that's instead of billing, because I think billing is a great idea, but if you find something interesting that the manager enjoys or the doctors enjoy, that's how you can also get in.
That's right. And I'm going to actually, let's see, I'm going to pause the screen so I can show one slide here and talk about this, because you just brought up something very interesting. We teach about a dozen different ways to market during our week there in Dallas. But we also have like I mentioned earlier, some of the ancillary services. So, Paul, some of these have opened doors for you, right? Doctors, again,
Yes.
want to talk about their coding or their compliancy, their AR. Those are the things that open the doors.
Correct. AR is a big button pusher. They, in fact, the office managers even talk about it, because it doesn't feel like it's their issue. They say they're saying patients just don't want to pay. So we've used Quick Collect very, very effectively, but we found out that we can be the intermediary. So when they talk about AR, they're willing to listen to say, well, how can you help us on that? So that's also a good way to get into the door, is to say, well, pick one specialty that will help them without the manager feeling like he's being non-productive. And if you can help them that way, it gives you the door to go into further, And we've also found out we talk about appeals rather than rejections, and that for some reason that doesn't seem more offensive to the manager. I'm talking about the office manager.
Yeah.
And they're willing to talk about those. So you just find different ways to mention it to them, and you find the button, the green button that they go for. And we found AR and appeal.
Yeah. Oh, he kind of hung up there.
One of the seconds.
Yeah. So again, folks, appeals. He's referring to claims that have been rejected by the clearinghouse or the insurance company, and you go back and run that back through our system, and it'll scrub it and find a lot of the errors, and sometimes they'll just go right back through, or you may have to make a call or two to follow up on some of that. But that one, I don't know how you charge on that, Paul, but on AR stuff, older stuff, isn't that you charge more than you would on just a regular new claim?
Yeah, we actually found out that they prefer an hourly rate, so we charge an hourly rate on that. If we start doing, what happens is, you start with the AR, and then they want you to do the posting. And then we start getting into the percentages. Then we take a percentage of what we posted. So as long as you get some sort of foot in the door, some small way of telling the practice, we can help you out without them, feeling overwhelmed. They actually feel that they've got an added person on their staff. When you go there and work on that. So we found out that most practices, the employees don't like calling the patients. So we don't have a problem doing the calling, and it's just a matter of calling. We have a way that we talk to them that they actually feel sorry that they didn't pay the statement. So we found out that's pretty good. So it turns around. The office manager likes that. The AR comes down every month. So it's a very good way to get into the door.
Now, Paul, we didn't talk about this earlier before the webinar, but I do have a question here that's very interesting from Angela. She says, how much is the average ROI? In other words, after you invested with ABS, how long do you think it took for you to get a return on your investment? Once you got your first client?
Well, I had my first client with my son. So within the year, it paid itself. But we started making really good money 2 years ago when my brother came, and we expanded, because at that point I wasn't expanding. I was doing it part-time. It was just there, and even part-time, it paid for itself, as far as the investment goes.
Yeah, most people who've never started a business don't realize that if you're still in the If you get into the black ink, in other words, you're making a profit after 2 years, you're doing pretty good nowadays. To do that in a year, that's a good. Yeah.
Yes. No, yeah, I recovered my expenses within the year. But fortunately, I had a client in the first year as well.
Yeah.
But since then, we've obviously progressed, and now I can afford to go to conferences and do a lot of talking, and that's another avenue of marketing. If you just
Yes.
if you're willing to go somewhere, whatever meetings it is locally, to a local conference or whatever, and see if you can speak or talk to people, they're willing to listen.
Sure.
Those are the times that they like to listen.
Yeah, that's part of what we talk about is how to go to trade shows and conferences and things like that, and just network, just getting other people's business cards and talking up your business. Yeah, it's a great way to meet. I mean, the doctors they're all doctors there at some of those conferences, so that's
That's
great.
right. You never know who you're going to bump into at the conferences because they're looking for something specific. But
Yeah,
you start a conversation, and then you don't you don't overwhelm them, but you just mention that you're there to see what things are and how you're going to help out. And we pick AR and training and working on appeals. Those are the three types of areas that seem to be non uh, bad. Not they're not bad words as far as the doctor or the manager goes. They're
right.
actually they seem like, oh, I'll listen to that. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. Angela, by the way, I don't know what the average is for our licensees that own the ROI, because remember, it's your own business and you don't have to share anything with us once you've gone through our training. But I have interviewed a lot of licensees, and many of them have said they've gotten their money back within 6 months. So, it just depends. It's just like everything else in life. It depends on you and how hard you work the business and how fast you're working it, whether you're doing full time or part time. Paul, do you have anybody working for you?
Well, my brother's partnership wise are two of us, but we have 1099 employees. They like to be their own employees, so we find out it's a lot easier because then we work per contract as a contract works, or whatever, like AR or whatever we've set up with a training session. We'll scale up to what we need, and then expense wise we scale down if that area goes down. And what we found out is we've been scaling up more than anything else, so we don't really have employees. We have more contractors that we work with.
Yeah, good. I think that's the way
Yeah.
most licensees do it. That way they don't have to worry about benefits or taxes or all that stuff.
Yeah, at the end of the year, you just send them a 1099, and that's they sort it out themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're happy that way too.
Now, folks, from time to time, I stop showing the slides. So if you're wondering where your slides went, that puts just me and Paul on the screen, so you can kind of focus on what we're saying here. But we are open to all the questions that are coming out. I see a bunch of them I hadn't got to. So, Paul, let me just jump in here. And
Sure.
one person here, Lupe, says, "How did you find the office space that you use for meeting clients? Do you?"
Yes, actually, from a local business, the West Orange Chamber for us, it was a local business. They got up and spoke just like we do, and they mentioned, we have space. It's limit, very reasonable, and you can pay by the hour, by the month, by the day, however you want. So we went and spoke to them, and we worked out a good arrangement. So very convenient. We call them up, or we can go online and book our space just like everybody else, and we can go there actually every day and mingle with it. There's a lot of people that go there, so we could actually, if you're tired of sitting in your office, you can go to this space and just sit and talk to somebody. So
Yeah, I
and it doesn't
suppose.
cost you anymore. Yeah, so it's actually a very good way, I would say, of introducing yourself to a prospective client is, come to my office, and they treat it like an office, like any conference room. You put your name up there, and you book for that time, whatever time you're looking for. So
Yeah.
it's a great, I think it's a great tool. It's just another marketing tool saying that, I'm 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 a real business as far as meeting clients.
Yeah.
They know you work from remotely because it's a cloud-based system. So
I'm just looking at some texts here that are coming in from my folks. They're saying just Google shared office space and you'll probably find companies in your area that will rent you and share for a fee, of course, their office
Yes.
space. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. We have a number, and we just happened to pick one. That was
Yeah.
great. So, yeah.
All right. Praveen is asking about how to attend the training because he's in India. And I just thought I would mention, Praveen, that we do have an online training option at this point. You might talk to the person who sent you the email inviting you to this webinar, or I'll give our phone number here at the end of the webinar and you can call and ask about that. Let's see. Razi is asking a great question here, Paul. With all the consolidation in the healthcare space, hospitals buying independent practices, what would you say is the market for medical AR and billing? Is it shrinking? That's what they're wanting to know.
Actually, it doesn't seem to be shrinking because I'm a member of the Independent Doctor Association as well, and they've been lobbying to stop hospitals buying out doctors, and they've actually their membership is growing. So I still say there's a lot of doctors that need help. We've actually come across some doctors that still use paper, which today it's amazing.
It is.
It is amazing. And one of the people that we use for marketing, he's a friend of mine, but he does do some of our marketing. His doctor sends them a bill when they do their next appointment. They'll tell him, oh, by the way, you've got a bill. And he says, but that's 6 months later. So it's you still find those doctors there, they paper. And the other night we went to a seminar, and the doctor was a paper doctor, and he's changing to an EMR. Unfortunately, he didn't pick us because he'd already picked somebody when we met, and he was converting from paper to the EMR system. But
yeah,
we got to know him, so who knows, down the road he knows us. If he has a problem or AR, he might call us. So
yeah.
it's so for us it hasn't seemed like it's shrinking. The news keeps saying doctors are shrinking, they're shrinking, but I'm finding that the few doctors that we've met, they're holding their own. Obviously, it's if they could do better sometimes, but the market's still out there.
Paul, that's why I wrote that book with Dr. Vicki Ragnar. I'm going to have her on a webinar next week, by the way. And one of the things we did by writing that book is called The New Thriving Medical Practice. That's because doctors are not thriving as much as they would like to. They're not making the kind of money they'd like to. And that's where we fit in. That's where our licensees fit in to help with that.
Correct. Yeah, we actually help them find the money that they've already worked on. When you've done patients and you leave money on the table, we find that for them. That's the big thing. They don't realize that they've already done the work, but we come behind and say, okay, well, this is what you should have received. We're busy, and that's where the appeals and the rejections and the scrubbing goes. So we find them so that missing is reduced to a very small amount. The rejection rate is reduced to a small amount.
Yeah. Hey, Razi, get back with your what we call your business coach here at ABS, and they'll send you some articles. We've shown some of these on recent webinars that doctors are now, once their contract is up with a hospital, they're moving back into private practice. They do not like doing what the hospital says to do, and not making the kind of money they used to.
That's right.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So I think the move is backwards now. By the way, we kind of assumed that everybody knew what AR is. One person just asked, what is AR? It's account receivable. It's the money that the doctor's owed by the patients.
Well, not just the patients, by the insurance companies as well.
Yeah.
So the insurance companies, if you don't follow up, they owe on claims that they may or may not have paid. So if you don't follow up on those, they're not going to pay you.
And there is a time limit, right, for a lot of claims, a lot of insurance companies, and so you got to get that money collected within what, 6 months or a year.
Well, some of them are a year, some of them are actually 90 days. So it all depends on how they've contracted out with the practices. But normally it's 6 months to a year. You can still work the claims.
Yeah, good. Let's see. Chelsea says, what do you say to patients that make them feel sorry about not paying? Oh, that's proprietary information. Chelsea, we share that during the live training down here. But believe me, a lot of licensees never make a phone call. They let our quick collect service do all that for them, and they don't worry about that. So that's just up to
Correct.
you as to
Yes.
whether or not you want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to make sure with the practice that they collect, Quick Collect is a very good company. They do everything professionally, and they have a process. But we as ourselves, we have some people that sort of help the practice before they get to that point. But Quick
Yeah.
Collect, we've used them and they're very successful.
Yeah.
The one
Now,
practice that we use. Yeah.
yeah, so let me go back just for a second here, folks, to all those different services that we have out there. The services that he's talking about with Quick Collect, some of those services are offered by third-party companies that we've partnered with. And so there's lots of different services that you can offer, and they're all powered by other companies that we're partners with. And so that's how that works. Somebody's asking about, is there any revenue profit split with ABS during your operation? Do you split any profits with me, Paul? I don't know about them. If you do.
No. What we make is what we keep.
Yeah. You've never paid me a penny after you left our training, have you?
No, I just paid for the license and the training, and that's all I paid for.
Yeah.
As far as to ABS, correct? Yeah. To ABS,
right.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Razi's asking, what role do the contractors fill for you? Are they doing the medical billing themselves?
We train them to do the medical billing, how to do it the way we wanted to do it. Sometimes they would do some data entry, data processing. Sometimes they will help out with the AR, do the research. So they're more of a time help as far as we go. But a lot of them for us is medical billing. We do the billing. We want to make sure that the billing's done right.
I just got a note here from Chelsea. She says, Google Regus office space. They're all over the country. Regus, R-E-G-U-S.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're a monthly, they pay you, you pay them a monthly fee as well. But what we use is actually the smaller companies where you pay by the hour rather than, with Regus, they pay by the day or the month.
Yeah.
But they're a good company too. Yeah, they you can use them as well.
Yeah. Eva's saying, I live here in the Dallas area. I'm wondering if the market is saturated in this area with ABS representatives. Eva, the amazing thing is, even though that we're here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, we don't have a lot of licensees here. Remember, what happens is sometimes licensees will build their business to a certain point, and then their marketing kind of slows down because maybe they don't want to work any harder or hire people. So they keep it as small as they want to, and that's what a lot of people do. We probably don't have 5 or 6 people here that are doing any kind of active marketing at all. And there's, I think, about 25,000 doctors here in the DFW area. So have you ever run into a competition? What is your biggest thing you run into out there, Paul?
I haven't really run into competition. I've run into a couple of the bigger billing companies that they're there. But then you find out that the doctors are tied in with them, and they seem to pay more for that their facility. Those are the ones that that we do bump into, as some of the bigger ones, the bigger companies. But they haven't really been a problem with once you talk to individual doctors. The bigger group doctors, they have their own. When you get larger practices, they tend to have the bigger. The bigger volumes, but it's not always, but that's what we've come across.
Yeah. Lupe says, are your clients local or do you have out-of-state clients, Paul?
We have both. We have local and we have state. Even we have some up as far as New York, actually.
Have you met them? Did you fly up there?
I haven't met them once, but we talk on the phone. We do webinars. So out-of-state ones, as long as you have good communication and you have interactive webinars or demos and that, everything works out pretty well. Yeah. Now, down the road, if we get, more and more, we might find somewhere that we would find a local rep that would, help us out there. But, finding somebody remote isn't an obstacle. It's actually, proves that you can, work with them, and the software is iCloud based, so everything's remote. So, they're quite happy, and any issues is one phone call away. So it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a lot of questions coming in here, folks. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. If we don't, remember the person who sent you the email to this webinar will be glad to answer all your questions. In fact, the ones you're typing in here are sent to our coaches here, and they will get back with you on any of those. So even if I don't get to them here live, they will. Now, Paul, this is an interesting question. Somebody's asking here, Dana is asking, how much time do you spend personally in your business?
Well, both of us are full time. I used to travel a lot, but in the last 2 years now, we're both full time running the business, and that's sorry.
You and your brother. You and your brother. Yeah.
My brother and I. Yeah. My brother is more of the day-to-day person, and I do the traveling and talking and things like that. So we've worked it out pretty well as far as that goes.
Good. Hey, Paul, a lot of people are asking questions about the training. I'm going to show a picture here. I don't know if you'll remember this or not. That was when you graduated.
Yes. That's correct. Yes.
There you are holding up your certificate there as a certified medical revenue manager. Now, tell us about the training itself and give people a feel for that week and whether it was worth your time coming down here.
Well, Cynthia was very good, and they've got a good method of doing the training and that. So what we found was everybody was trying to jump forward into finding out how do you get the doctors, the marketing and that. But Cynthia was very good in keeping us down to earth and working through the methodology of the system, how it works, and then the procedures on how do you find the doctor, what procedure. If you follow. Not everybody can do cold calls, not everybody can do webinars, not everybody can do certain things, but there's a whole list, and you just pick what type of personality you are and work with that. And if you follow their procedures, for me it was successful anyways. We found a few doctors, referrals, family, friends. I mean, everybody that's on that list. That's how they start, and then they expand it with the other options. So there's definitely a lot of ways of training to get to the point where I was comfortable in going out and saying, okay, I think I can do this type, and that's how I followed it.
And I don't remember, Paul, but when you went through, were you doing the hands-on training? Did we have laptops there in the room? I can't remember now. Yeah.
I think we did have hands-on as far as
you can see on the. Let's see. I'm going to put this screen up here. This is.
If you show a picture,
we bring them in. We get people doing medical billing the first day because sometimes they're wondering about the software, how hard is it to learn, and so forth. So we have to cover that, of course, and then we cover sessions on. Oh gosh, a million different things. It's pretty power packed, isn't it?
Yes, very, very, yeah. So I mean, it's more if you concentrate more on the person talking, I think you learn more that way as well. But hands-on is a good way to get through the system down the road.
Yeah, and then all of the training sessions, folks, are all recorded out there as webinars like this one for our licensees. We have a private website that you'll have access to, and there's literally hundreds of hours of training out there that you can take on your own or share it with people. If you're going to hire somebody, you can show them certain videos to learn the things you want them to learn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, Paul, you mentioned earlier, I guess your brother functions or is there another friend that you have that's kind of a sales rep for you?
Yeah, Jeff. He's one of the partners that he does a lot of traveling. So we use him in the marketing side for referrals and that. So we've sort of pulled him in as our marketing rep. We don't, and he gets paid percentages wise as well. So it doesn't cost us anything as long as we make something. He makes something. So it's to me, I find it's less expensive than going out and finding a marketing company to market yourself. Because I think ABS has got some great tools. You just got to learn to use them.
Sure. Yeah, we teach people that it's good that you are learning on your own how to market. But there are lots of people out there that are able to sell if that's what you're worried about getting clients. We have a whole session on that in the training on how to find sales reps, how to hire them, how to pay them, and so forth. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. And those people obviously are very good as well at what they do. And that's a tool, I think, that if somebody's not confident in doing the marketing themselves, they can use it that way. And as long as you, like ABS shows you, you can find a way that covers the costs as well as the revenue, the ROI on that coming back as well.
Yeah, because you basically pay these folks on commission as they bring you business. You pay them an upfront part of the setup fee that they collect from the doctor they can have. Plus, you can give them a revenue on the back end, so that as you are processing for that doctor, they get a little small, piece of that. They love that, of course, residual income.
Yes, yes.
Paul, can you address, somebody's asking questions about the software here. As you know, of course, ABS is not a technology company. We didn't develop the software. In conjunction with two doctors 20 years ago, it was developed. And then, of course, we're partners with NextGen, who is the biggest healthcare provider out there, I guess, in the marketplace. And they power these. Now, folks, you see on the screen there, EMRX and iClaim. Those are our private labeled versions of the software. And so, again, it really doesn't matter as long as you know the company's going to be around. And believe me, NextGen is big. They are the biggest.
Yes, yeah, they're very good as far as that goes. So, yeah, their software works great. I haven't had any hiccups, and anything that you need to find is there. They have a good. They're flexible as far as setting up each practice, each doctor by specialty. So, it doesn't matter what specialty you have or find. They'll help you, set it up according to that specialty.
Paul, somebody's asking here, Bob is saying, how much downtime is there on your system since it's cloud-based? Have you ever had it go down on you?
No.
Yep.
The only time is when I lose internet access, really. That's the only downtime that I've found anyway. So as long as you've got a good internet access, you're good.
Yeah, we had a storm here the other day. Our electricity in my house was out for about an hour, and I didn't realize how much I depended on the web, the internet, the Wi-Fi.
That's true. Yes, yes.
I actually had to read a book. Yeah, and I couldn't read it on my iPad. So
physical book. Yeah. But I've had no problems with the software. It's been good.
We've never had any complaints about that. I think it has an uptime of about 99.6% or something. It's only down when they want to take it down for any kind of upgrades or something like that. And then that's like 3 a.m. in the morning, So if you're a night owl, you'll get a notice that we're going to shut this down here for 10 minutes, But the great thing is that nowadays there's just no reason why you can't have an internet connection. I can set up a hotspot on my iPhone and connect my computer to my phone to the satellites in the sky. And it's slower. It's not the ideal, but for the hour that I was down, I could do that,
Mm-hmm.
I've had people go to like a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi and just sit there on their laptop and work.
Well, I mean, that's also a great place. We meet sometimes we have a local coffee shop here, Axum. We meet there and we give them a demo, of what's there, what they're looking for and stuff like that. So, as long as you got internet access, the system's very good.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Rozzy, I hope that answers your question about the iClaim and other cloud-based software that we have. Angela says, what is a successful client range? Like 1 to how many clients would you need to start receiving a livelihood? That depends on the size of the client, of course, right?
Correct, because if you have one practice, it just depends on how many claims they do. Also, if you have a specialist, all you need is one specialist, and they generate a large amount of money. So I would say the ideal practice is 2 or 3 doctors. They generate, over 100,000, I would say, a month. So you could easily, work on that. If you have a couple of them, if you have a specialist, they're in the same range.
Yeah.
So, my son's well over that, and they've doubled in size. So, yeah.
Wow. Probably because you're helping him collect more money.
I'd like to say that I'm part of that reason, and I think their marketing. The nice thing is, we've done it to the point where they don't worry about their billing, their AR, the back office. They concentrate on the patients, how to get more patients, patient portal, MIPS, macro, all those type of reportings. In fact, you could also introduce yourself as a MIPS or macro expert if you want to learn all about that. They're very, very keen on learning on that as well. So, and our software does all the reporting for you. As long as you set up the buttons correctly, you have all the reports that you need.
Somebody's asking about why couldn't I just start this on my own and develop my own marketing materials? Can you kind of address the marketing materials and how you utilize some of that?
I wouldn't even try setting up my own marketing material on this. It's so much easier to say, okay, I need more EMRX pamphlets, or I want to put my business card on those. We just order them and they come to you at a very low cost. If you try to market it yourself, I would say that your biggest expense is marketing. So if you want to go ahead and market on your own, there's a lot of marketing companies that would charge you thousands and thousands of dollars. Hopefully you get it pretty soon, because that's every month, not just 1 month. So,
right. Yeah.
I'd say the marketing material that ABS offers is second to none. If you need it, you just you order it.
Yeah. Well, we've spent over $100,000 just developing them, and like you said, you can order them at basically our printing cost, cheaper than you could probably print on your own. Anything with your logo, like you said, your business card, right there on the flyers. And then there's that book. Those books that you see there. Now, Paul, I don't know if you've actually gotten any of these books or not.
I have. I've actually got the Thriving Medical Practice I've used, and Adam just sent me the new one. I'm busy getting the new ones, so I'll be handing those out. But also the quality of paper that's on the marketing is excellent, and your folders, second to none. There's no ways that you can try and reproduce this at a nominal fee. This is, the marketing here is unreal.
And you can't tell from this image on the screen, folks, but those 4 books that you see there, they're actually books that you can order with your name on the books. And it's a terrific way to establish yourself as the authority in your area, because you're associated with, well, like that one book there, the Thriving book. Here, I'll put that up here.
Yeah.
This is the one that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I have my business card on the back, and so it's great. It's a great tool. You hand that out, and they're going to see your name somewhere along the line, and it's in reference to Dr. Vicky Ragnar and yourself and everybody. So it puts you in a higher standing than most other people, because you have a book associated with you, regardless if somebody else wrote it, but your name's on it.
Yeah, Dr. Vicky Ragnar, folks, is a retired general surgeon. In practice for many, many years. She outsourced her billing, and we're going to do a webinar next week with her telling why doctors should be outsourcing their billing, especially to you, one of our ABS licensees. Paul, I see it's about 10 till. I'm going to let you go, buddy. I know you need to meet with that potential client. Let us know how many doctors they have and how you signed them up.
Yeah, we'll see what the result is. Hopefully it's good. So I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks so much for the invite. Yeah, appreciate it.
You can just leave with that little button up there that says, leave the webinar. Should be under that little button somewhere at the top. Okay, well, folks, I'm going to stay on here now. I'm going to answer some more questions, and I'm going to give you some more information about our next training class, which, by the way, is coming up real soon. Let me just show you here on the screen a close-up of that. You see where it says Forward by Susan Smith, CMRM? That can be your name. Yes. You are right on the cover. Now, we've already written the forward, or you can write your own as long as we approve it, but it can be like up to 2 pages, a forward, and it's a great way to market your business. And then your name is actually on the inside of the book with your company information, website, phone number, and so forth. It's a wonderful. Do you know that these books are out on Amazon right now for $24.95? That's what a doctor would have to pay to order this book. You can get these printed with your name on the inside and the outside for $4 a copy. That's right. That includes shipping. That is our printing cost, and we can do that because we have connections with printers that can do that for very little money. Now, let's see. What else do I need to do? I need to find I lost my question box. Let me see where that's out of here on my screen. Somewhere it's supposed to be over here, and I don't know why I can't find it. But anyway, oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to bring that back out and see if there's some questions that I've missed here or that I can get to. I know I'm going to miss a lot of them, but while I'm doing that, let me get back to the slideshow here and show you a little bit about our guarantee, because folks, I don't know many businesses that you can get into that say, okay, we have a franchise fee of several $1,000s and you can come to our training, and if you don't like it, you can get your money back. Well, that's exactly what we've done. My staff thought I was nuts when I came up with this, but I said, look, if we really have what we say we have, people will see that during this week of training. And if they don't like it, look, it says right there, if at the end of the training workshop for any reason or no reason at all, you don't think this business is right for you, there's no weasel words in this, folks. If it's not right for you, just tell us and we'll give you money back, every penny of the licensing fee. Now, you're going to have to spend money to get here to Texas. And you have to the hotel will only run you about $700 for the week. So think how little a risk that is for you to come down and say, okay, I think this Patrick's just full of bull, but I'm going to go down there, I'm going to sit through that training. If I don't like it, I get all my money back and I go home and I had a nice vacation in Texas for a week. That's what that guarantee is for. Now, we have given money back to people. I'll tell you that it is just not for everybody. Literally a handful of people in the last 25 years. So it does happen, but you can ask your ABS business coach more about that if you want to. Now, don't forget to sign up for next week's webinar. This is where I'm interviewing Dr. Vicki Ragnar, and she's going to be talking about how easy it is to market to doctors. Yes, as a doctor, she knows what it takes to reach doctors and why they should be outsourcing their billing to you. Now, that link that you see at the bottom of this slide, you don't have to type that in. It's over there in your question box. I think it shows up in your question box. Somebody tell me if that's true. I don't know if that's right or not. Does anybody see it? Did it show up in your question box there? Should be down at the bottom, the last thing that maybe just popped up in your question box there. No, one person says no. Oh, well, let me try this one more time. Oh, I don't know why I can't post that. That is weird. Okay, well, I don't know. All right, folks, go to our website. Hey, I know I've got a slide of that I can get to here. Here we go. All right, let's see what happens when I go here. All right, I'm going to stop that because what I want to do is actually get you to, oh, there's my video playing. I'm going to stop that. Okay, here it is. This is our website, and folks, you can find out a lot of, no, it's not. I'm sorry, this is some other website. This is our YouTube channel. This is where you can go to find out a whole lot. Now, look at it. Let's see, I had the slide on the screen, but it says youtube.com/whyabs. Why should you join us? Why ABS? Just put that at the end. I think you can see that up here at the top if you look real careful. There it is right there in that link. And here you can search all the videos that we've done in the past. You can search for the word interview and see all the interviews I've done with people. It's a great place to find all the, oh, Chelsea says if you scroll down in the question box to the very end, that it's down there that you'll see that link. So go ahead and register for that if you want to right now. Get your spot registered, reserved. And if you can't make it, it's okay, because we record all of these and we send you the links to the recordings if you attend the webinars. So you should get that as well. Yeah, here's 2 or 3 people say that it's there. Yep. Oh, okay. So let's see. I'm going to answer a few more questions here. They're more generic and, oh, this is a great comment by Chelsea also. Thank you, Chelsea. Patrick's book, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success, is a life changer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wrote that a few years back, and it has changed a lot of people's lives, especially when you come through training and you realize that a lot of what's going on inside your head is what's kept you back in life. So we change people's lives by changing the way they think about themselves. Let's see, I need to stop showing this slide and try to get back to my other slides here. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can do that. All right, one question is, I lost it. Here it is. Can you walk us through a typical work day of the franchisee? Rozzy is asking that question. And it varies, Rozzy, from licensee to licensee. If you watch some of those interviews, let me put this back up here. I think this will be a good place for you to go find some of those interviews. Just search on our site here on YouTube about interview. Just put the word interview in there when you search, and you'll see all kinds of. If you watch some of those interviews, folks, there's probably 50 or 60 people I've interviewed over the few years that we've been doing the interviews. And they will tell you, some of them, that the workday is completely different. I don't think I even showed that on the screen, did I? Let me go back to that slide and push this button here. Here we go. Here's the link. I'll leave that up there so you can go look at that once the webinar is over. The typical day for most people is they get up and they fight their way through their traffic, on their stairway, going from upstairs to downstairs. That's the first thing they do. Then they make coffee, and they probably go to their office and start reading some email. Now, during the day, of course, somebody has to do the billing. The doctors are sending stuff through you electronically, and you, of course, put it in our system to start sending the claims to the insurance companies. And that goes all through our clearinghouse, so you don't have to worry about that. We've got all that worked out, and we do all the hard work behind the scenes for you. But that's the primary thing that you're going to be doing during the day. Now, Paul does some of the AR, and so he's involved a little bit in that. If you use Quick Collect, you don't really do anything. It's an automated system. It does it all electronically through emails and phone calls, all without you having to do a thing. He's just decided that he wants to get a little bit more involved in that than most people do, to be honest with you. But you'll probably do some marketing as well, right? Well, you can do that before hours, after hours. We have ways to do networking. There are network groups in your area that will show you how to get in contact with, and you can actually go before 7 o'clock in the morning if you want to, or after 5 in the evening, and meet with some of those people who, again, we call them power partners. You meet with people who do business with doctors, and they will refer you to doctors. So now there are people, he mentioned cold calling. Yes, one of the things we teach is direct contact. That's where you go to one of those medical buildings in your city, and you start at the top floor and you go down. Now, you're not soliciting anything. What you're doing is leaving information for them and grabbing a business card. That's about all there is to that. And you may be even giving the doctor one of our books with your name on the cover as a gift, and get the dialogue started with that. There's all kinds of ways, folks. We teach about a dozen different ways in our live training workshop how to get the clients, because we want you to learn that on your own. Now, we could, if we knew all the doctors that want to sign up for medical billing right now, we wouldn't need you, right? So that's why we as a company are not involved in actual doing the medical billing now. My wife and I did many, many years ago. And then once we started teaching other people, we felt like it wouldn't be right if we were in competition, so to speak, with them. There are companies that do something similar to what we do, folks. Be sure and ask them, do you do medical billing for doctors as a company? If they do, they're in competition with you. Ask them if their software is sold under a different name directly to doctors. That's in competition with you. And so we don't do that. We're solely a support and training company. That's all we do, is train people and support people who are in this business and develop all kinds of new marketing materials and things that they need to get their business up and running. And folks, there are lots and lots of ways that you could start the business. You could buy books or take a course online. You don't have to be a coder, a medical coder. We have all the codes built into our system. You'll see that that's not necessary. And if you have questions, we have another service called CodeWrite that has certified medical coders that can help you and the doctor. And so there's just lots of ways to do it. Okay, I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to show you now that we do have a training coming up. It's July the 22nd. Let me put that on the screen here. It also has our phone number on there, folks. So if for some reason you don't know how to get back with the person who invited you to this webinar, maybe you were invited by a friend or something, there's our phone number at the bottom there, 866-565-8413. That's a toll-free number. And the training workshop, we do those about every 6 or 7 weeks, so there won't be another one until September. But that's because July is kind of late in the month there. So we skip August, we go to about the second week of September for our next one, and we only have about 2 others after that. So again, folks, if you're thinking about starting a business, why not come down? Now, yes, you have to send the paperwork in and make your payment for the license fee and all that, but that's put into a trust fund. We don't even have the money until you've gone through the training. If you go through the training, don't ask for your money back, of course, then we get that money. So that's the way we do it. You'll love the class, the interaction with people. I get up there and do some training and speaking as well. My son gets up there. We have other people who come in, guest speakers that appear virtually. And I'm not going to give it all away, but folks, this is an interactive workshop, not just lectures all day. You'll look at your watch at the end of each day and say, where did the time go? Well, folks, I hope you're signing up for our next week's webinar. It's there in your question box. Look for that. And I hope I see all of you at one of our upcoming live training workshops. Be sure and ask your ABS coach about any specials that we're running. This is our 25th anniversary, so there are some things we're offering to people to fill up our classes. So just ask them about that, and they'll tell you more about it. Okay, well, thanks for being on here today. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Those of you who I didn't get to your questions, remember, we're going to be sending these to your coaches, and they will send you the answers back either by text or email or a phone call, however you want to work with us. Folks, we're not here to sell you anything. We're here to teach you how to make a living on your own and be independent for the rest of your life. Thanks for being here. I hope I see you at our next workshop. I'm going to leave this running so that you can go use that link in the question box there to sign up for next week's webinar. Bye for now.